Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next lesson on the timeline of life. Today, we are going to be talking about the Ordovician period of the Paleozoic era. The Ordovician period is the second period of the Paleozoic era, and it comes after the Cambrian. And we see at the end of the Cambrian, there's this blue jagged part on our timeline. And this means that there was an ice age. So at the end of the Cambrian period, the Earth got colder all of a sudden. And so the types of life that we have in the oceans have to make some changes in order to survive. Some animals don't survive, and some have to make some changes. And when we see these significant changes in the animals, we know that we are in a new period. So the Ordovician period is marked by the Earth warming back up some during this time, and it's lasted about 42 million years, which is a pretty long time, much longer than my brain can really understand, but it's a very long time. It starts here at about 485 million years ago, and it goes all the way to here at where scientists think was about 443 million years ago. So we have a nice long period here. During the Ordovician period, we had another explosion of life. Lots of new creatures joining the Earth. We still have the trilobites, but then we also have some other new animals and plants. We have the nautiloids and sea stars come into existence during this time. Also, these creatures here, which look kind of like plants, they're called crinoids, and crinoids are actually animals, kind of like corals. We also see corals and sponges coming onto the Earth during this time. Our trilobite friends here from the Cambrian period, they start to just explode. Lots of new types of trilobites come into being during this time, and they get quite a bit bigger. Also, during this time, just like in the Cambrian period, there was more water on the Earth than there is now. So the seas were very high, and most of the land was down by the South Pole, not at the North Pole, down by the South Pole. As the Ordovician period gets closer to the end, scientists think that there were some major changes in the atmosphere, in the gases that are in our air around the Earth. And they believe that these changes in the atmosphere caused several mass extinction events, which means several big changes on the Earth that caused lots of plants and animals to die. So by the end of the Ordovician period, almost 85% of the types of life on Earth at the time died, which means that in the next period that we'll learn about next week, there were some pretty big changes in the way that life looked on Earth. The other really big and exciting thing about the Ordovician period is that during this period, the very first life made it onto land. And it wasn't animals. Scientists believe that this is when plants started to grow on land. And there may have been some very, very tiny animals, kind of like millipedes maybe, that lived on land at the time that made it onto land. But scientists are still studying that. We don't really know for sure yet. So today, for your timeline, we are going to add these animals to our timeline down at the bottom. So I have my sheet with my animals on it, and I'm going to look here, and I see we have a trilobite. So if I look around on my sheet, Let's see, there's the trilobite that I'm looking for. And, ooh, do I see it? Ah, there it is. There's my trilobite. Cut that out and glue it on. Just like last week, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be careful. Oh, I see it's right here on my timeline, so I'm going to put it down here. Kind of near the beginning. And then I see I have a nautiloid. There it is. There's my nautiloid. I think this time I'm going to cut this part off from the bigger piece because I think it'll be easier to cut that way. So here's my nautiloid. And cut off the extra paper there. There we go. And I'm going to put it right in here. I have my glue. I have my trusty glue today. So I'm going to put some glue on and get those glued down right away. There we go. All right, so there's my trilobite and my nautiloid, and it's time to find a sea star. There's the sea star. Oh. Oh, there it is. It turned upside down on me. There. And I have my glue ready to go. So I'm going to put my glue on there and stick it right on. There we go. All right. And then looks like there's a fossil. There it is. There's the fossil. See, I didn't cut it out perfectly. I just tried to be careful. And I'll put it right there. And stick it right on. Okay, so let's see, what else do I have in my Ordovician period? I think this is it, the crinoids. So if I look here on my paper, this other small piece, I don't see a crinoid on there. Let's see. There. There it is, right in the corner. Okay. There we go. Cut off the extra paper. There we go. And it goes down here underneath our red lines. There we go. All right, I'm gonna move all my bits of paper out of the way. So when you get done with your timeline of life today, you should have added the Ordovician period in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures to add this week. Have a good day, everyone, and I will see you next week to learn about the Silurian period.